Hi, everybody. I wanted to talk to you for a few minutes about a strategy that you can use for identifying the root cause of a problem. This is something that you might find helpful as you're planning your kickoff meeting and as you are trying to define the scope and goals of your practicum project. Henry Ford is attributed with making the statement, "If I had asked people what they wanted, they would have said faster horses." In fact, historians say that he never actually said that, or probably never actually said that, but the point is still quite valid. And that is, often when you ask people what they need, they will often jump to a solution that is obvious to them rather than pausing and thinking about what the actual problem or issue they have is. In this case, their problem wasn't necessarily that their horses weren't fast enough. It was that they wanted to be able to get places faster, be more efficient in their travel, but they didn't necessarily have the imagination to be able to think of another way to do that beyond having faster horses. So I'm going to share my screen with you right now. Okay, so Ono Taichi, and I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing his name, was a very famous Japanese industrial engineer and businessman. He is the father of the Toyota production system, and he is the person who is attributed with developing the 5 whys technique or the 5 whys strategy. So here's the example that he would typically give of the 5 whys. So why did the robot stop? The circuit has overloaded, causing a fuse to blow. Why is the circuit overloaded? There was insufficient lubrication on the bearings, so they locked up. Why was there insufficient lubrication on the bearings? The oil pump on the robot was not circulating sufficient oil. Why is the pump not circulating sufficient oil? The pump intake is clogged with metal shavings. Why is the intake clogged with metal shavings? Because there's no filter on the pump. So the root cause is there was no filter on the pump, and that is why the robot stopped. So you can see how digging deeper into each problem and asking, why did this happen? Why did this happen? Why did this happen? Can eventually get you to the root cause of a problem. But there's sometimes can be some problems with using the 5 whys. First of all, there's nothing magical about the number 5. It might take fewer iterations of questions. It might take more iterations of questions. Furthermore, very often there's not a single root cause of a problem. In complex systems, there can often be multiple problems that are contributing to issues in the system or process. In addition, the people who you're talking to, your clients, might need a little bit more guidance in the kinds of questions you're asking than a simple why question. And then finally, and maybe most importantly, I think most people on this earth find it very annoying to be continually asked why every time they answer a question when they think that they're done answering the question. So you definitely don't want to come across as annoying to your clients if they're not trained in the 5 why techniques and don't understand what is happening. So I created kind of a modified 5 whys example that might be helpful to you to use. And I'm using an example of a project where perhaps your company sponsor tells you that they either need a new supply chain process or they need to optimize their supply chain process. I'm sorry, I'm getting over COVID as I'm recording this video. So, to which you might ask why, and they might say, we're falling behind our competitors because we can't efficiently acquire reagents. And then you might ask, well, can you provide examples of where the company was limited by supply chain issues? And maybe they'll provide you with 3 examples. So once you have those 3 examples, you can either ask follow-up questions or do research to explore. And some of these might be asked initially at your kickoff meeting, while some might require further research on your part. But some examples of follow-up questions might be, was the limitation due to resources in the company? If so, was it due to the number of people, or was it due to missing expertise among the people that were working there? Another thing that you could ask about, was the limitation due to an inefficient process where miscommunication occurred and things slipped through the cracks? And if that's the case, maybe you want to look at whether there's a technology available that could improve the communication process and ensure that the correct flow to people occurs. Another question, was the limitation due to insufficient partnerships with suppliers? So are there any critical partnerships that are missing entirely? Or perhaps do their partnerships need to be strengthened so that their company might be a higher priority among their partners? Or maybe they might need partners that are backups in case one of their partners is unable to perform or provide what they need. And then a really important question always to ask and always to check is whether you have biases or they have biases and assumptions within this framework. And so a question you might want to ask is, if all of these things were optimized, will the company be successful in competing? Or are they too far behind their competitors in this product or service to the point where they would be unlikely to be successful? Okay, so that is my example of the 5 whys and the modified 5 whys. I will see you soon. Enjoy the rest of your day.